On Friday, Governor Abigail Spanberger announced more than 66,000 Virginians who lost civil rights after felony convictions have those rights now restored. The move could make a big impact here in Hampton Roads, where thousands of eligible voters may now be able to cast a ballot once again. Lauren Haley Morris joins us in studio with what this means ahead of the general election. Hi, Lauren.
Yeah, Madison, the election is just months away, and these restorations could have a noticeable impact here in Hampton Roads. Cities like Norfolk, Portsmouth, Newport News, Hampton, and Suffolk have thousands of people with past felony convictions who can now be eligible to participate in the upcoming elections. Bill Twine has worked with formerly incarcerated Virginians for decades.
This fellow here, his daughter just graduated from high school.
His Prophet Wants Him As Ministry is one of the few organizations in Hampton Roads who provide shelter and a helping hand for those transitioning from jail or prison.
When I was in the Norfolk jail working there in 1982, a lot of the men that I was working with in the small Bible studies, I saw where they didn't have any place to go after they got out. And so I saw very early on the need.
Now, a move he's been passionate about for years is coming to fruition as Governor Abigail Spanberger announces restored voting rights for more than 66,000 Virginians.
A person comes out of prison, you're expecting them to obey the laws. Why not give them the opportunity to participate? And so many coming out of prison, they want that. They want that because so many of them have families and they want to be a good father, a good mother.
Virginia remains just one of 3 states where people with felony convictions do not automatically get their voting rights back after leaving prison. Twine says that decision comes from the governor.
It all depends on who's in the governor's chair and who's in the General Assembly. You've got some governors who are just not really excited about automatic restoration because they think that the inmates that are coming out are not going to vote for them.
Twine says this action is just the start.
We need to make sure that we are doing our best to provide our incarcerated citizens opportunities because about 95% of them will get out and come back into our community. So there ought to be some automatic restoration.
Yeah, and the next move is in voters' hands. On the ballot this November is a constitutional amendment that could automatically restore voting rights to people convicted of felonies once they're released from incarceration. If it passes, it could shift the decisions away from the governor's office. Lauren Haley Morris, 13 News Now.
All right, thank you so much, Lauren. And the NAACP Virginia also weighed in, saying in part this executive action returns the fundamental right to vote to tens of thousands of Virginians who have rejoined their communities. The general election early voting begins on September 18th, and Election Day is set for November 3rd.